Welcome to the Stoneridge software video series for batch manufacturers. Our batch industry solutions are powered by Yavion ProBatch running on Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central. In this video, we will be focused on vendor rating and looking at some configuration options around vendor rating and how that works. In this session, we've really called it vendor rating, although this functionality can also be configured to apply to customer ratings as well. So let's dig into the product into Business Central and take a look at the configuration options for vendor rating. All right, the first one we want to look at is the different criteria that can be used to actually calculate the rating itself. So the first thing we can look at is scheduled delivery variance. So this can be configured to look at the number of days either before or after a scheduled delivery date. And the way the system works is I can set up a criteria here to say if it's prior to, actually I could do negative days prior to the schedule, if it's on time or days late, and then I can assign the number of points to the calculation based on before, if the delivery is before or after my scheduled delivery date. What you'll notice as we go through these configuration options is they can apply to vendors, vendor groups for purchasing rating. My customer ratings can apply to a specific customer group, or alternatively, we can actually set up ratings that are specific to items. It allows you a tremendous amount of flexibility in terms of how do you actually want to calculate vendor delivery ratings. So even saying if a particular item, I want a stronger weighting or a closer criteria on delivery rating versus a different item. So a lot of flexibility in terms of how that can be configured. All right, the next thing we'll look at is quantity. And what this is going to base our calculation on is the variance to the quantity ordered. So I can set up, again, number of points, either positive and negative, based on the quantity of a particular item that I've ordered. This could be negative as well, so positive or negative, and then assign points based on that criteria. Once again, you can see this can be set up for vendors, customers, or item specific. All right, next thing is going to be a partial delivery setup. And what this is going to evaluate is the number of deliveries that I've had. Once again, well, in this case, it's only going to be positive, but I can set up number of points, assign them to vendors if I wanted to, vendor groups, items, or if I was doing customers, I could do customers as well. All right. A little more detail is an integration with the quality system as part of ProBatch. So we're not going to go into the quality system specifically, but what I want to show you as part of an inspection plan, so this is an inspection plan that I set up, I can then include a quality code with that. So the way this works is based on the evaluation of this inspection. So did I fall inside control limits or outside of control limits? What sort of point values do I want to assign to the delivery rating? So you can set up really any type of quality evaluation you wanted. They could be numeric, it could be a Boolean value, it could be a list value. But if the vendor delivered as I expected, maybe I add points. If they didn't, I could subtract points. Okay, so integration with the quality system as part of the calculation. Okay, so delivery rating itself, let me look at the setup there, and on the criteria, what we have the ability to do then is to set up different types of evaluations. They can have classes associated with them. The big thing I can look at is the weighting of each classification as well as the collection interval. So the collection interval would allow me to collect per transaction. I could also accumulate those based on time. So if I wanted all the deliveries in a particular month to be evaluated together, I can set that up as well. The delivery rating can automatically be created if you want to. The other way is that it could be scheduled. So if I wanted to run it every month, every week, I can also manually execute a delivery rating. All right, one more level of nuance if you want to. What this allows you to do is to actually split or adjust the weight, the collection interval, the number of points, etc., by vendor group, customer, or customer group if you wanted to. So even further nuances if I've got stricter criteria or more laxed criteria for, again, specific instances, I can set that up. The other thing I can do is I can also set up a valid from and to date. So if I want to change my calculation criteria at a particular time, I can set that up as well. Okay, so let's look at the calculation against a particular vendor, and I'm going to pull up the London Postmaster, and I'm going to scroll down to the section here called delivery rating. Couple things to note in terms of the categorization of your delivery ratings. So you can do A, B, C, D if you want. You could do 1, 2, 3, 4. It's really a definable category and description during the implementation. So if you want 3 categories, 5, 10, 15, it's really up to you in determining how you want those categories labeled. What happens then is the number of points accumulate or give you a category rating. So again, if you think in terms of A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, 4, better, best, terrible, whatever that criteria would be or whatever that setup would be, is up to you. All right, let's look at the history, and we've got some history around the delivery rating itself. And I'm just going to go in here and we're going to look at some of the data. So what this is going to show me is, again, the criteria or the calculation specific to this vendor. So how is this actually being applied? So on-time delivery, I'm giving 97 points with a weighting of a 2. Partial delivery, I'm taking away a point. You get the idea here that you can set up, again, criteria down to the vendor if you wanted to, or actually just see what's applying, in this case, to the particular vendor. All right, next thing we're going to look at history, delivery rating, and let's look at the delivery rating entry. So what this is actually the data that's being used to calculate the delivery rating. So this allows me to look at the specific transaction, the posting date of the transaction, and how a particular point value was calculated for this rating. So I can get to the transaction detail behind all the calculations that are happening for the particular rating. All right, last thing we want to look at here under delivery rating is rating history. And what the rating history is going to allow me to do is to look at, last month, what was the rating, the previous month, et cetera. So each time this is calculated, it's going to store a delivery rating setting. One thing I forgot to show you under history here is back under delivery rating entry. Oh, sorry, not that one. Delivery rating. All right. We also have the ability to do soft criteria. And what this is a manual adjustment to the rating. So if you had a bad interaction with a vendor, a good interaction with the vendor, a bad with the customer, good with the customer, etc., this is really, in essence, a manual adjustment to the point value accumulated for the rating. So manual adjustments, if you want to, also part of the system. So that is delivery rating in a nutshell. Appreciate your time here today. Remember, delivery rating can also be configured for customers. So if I wanted to evaluate essentially my rating towards my customers, that's what this would allow me to do. Same configuration options apply to the customer side as well to the vendor side. All right, we encourage you to stay connected. Follow us on LinkedIn, information about upcoming webinars and events. Check out our resources page, a lot more educational content, blog posting, etc. Pretty regular blog postings on a weekly basis available there. If you want to talk to us about this topic or other topics, feel free to reach out to us, solutions@stoneridgesoftware.com. We would love to get you connected to one of our team members to help you out.